Hello world, this is JWP, J Ward Primo Beats, coming to you live from my bedroom. Check out my website, jwpsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own audio plugins and synth edit, or my GoFundMe, JWP Fund. If you're watching this on YouTube, a like, comment, and/or subscribe are appreciated. I'll be continuing to mix my older catalog in FL Studio. So when last I left off, I was importing isotope stuff. However, because they're 64-bit and they use some sort of VST3 bridging, they are actually bridged out. So, well, actually, the last time it crashed on me, I froze and I had to unlock it off stream. And I did manage to recover the session. A little bit behind, but we're okay. However, because I'm just going to pull all of the isotopes. Maybe I'll just leave them. Might as well just leave them. I forgot to do my phase alignment or my phase optimization using RX. So once I do that, I can upgrade the project to FL Studio 20, because the reason I'm using FL Studio 10 is because of the arpeggiator. It changed between 20 and or 10 and 20. So yeah, I'll get to doing that. In order to do that, I'm gonna have to reroute all my channels. Actually, I suppose I could just reopen the older FLP instead of rerouting, or I could just use the routing here. I need to set up my monitor as well. One thing I forgot to do. Turn down my volume as my notifications are going off. Distracting me. See, they're just killer. Maybe I should just turn out. Notifications are fine, I guess. Maybe they kind of interrupt the stream. Let's just mute my phone for now. They shouldn't be running. I don't know why they're running. I usually have a do not disturb set for this time. All right. So these are the channels. These are all the instruments looking like. So I don't generally have to do anything. I'll just get them pushed out. I did remove that first ice and neutron, so let's go ahead and put that back. And in fact, I'm considering using some Nectar, because Nectar has an unmask feature. I don't believe Neutron does. It might. I don't think so, though. And with that, I can pick an instrument and unmask it from the rest. Not sure which one that'll be. Maybe the alto or the 2 tenors. We'll see. However, I do have to turn all of these outputs off, and I do want everything to kind of end up in the same place. So I'm going to dig around on my computer here. Hopefully I target the right folder. I do believe it's here. And then go triplet. And I do believe this is called audio data. And then we'll go there. So call this BD. Of course, I'm gonna have to rename all these now. It's probably, yeah, it's gonna keep dropping me here. So I'm gonna have to add this folder to my favorites, so I don't have to keep digging into the depths of my machine here. Audio data, and then I'll just add a flag here, and now it's there. I'll keep removing this IZ. And that's done. All I have to do is click here, and I'm suddenly there. Okay, and I'm also going to have to adjust my volumes. It's funny I don't get an IZ there because it's not actually there. Is this the right folder? Okay. Just have to double check that. Be dumping it somewhere. It looks like I have a couple folders here. Okay, and finally tenor. That there, and then 24 bits fine. Oh, I got to adjust my volumes here. I just want to make sure there's nothing. Like these guys are left and right. Let's center those. It looks like everything else is pretty much on the level. The level adjustments haven't been messed with, so I'm just going to double check that this multiplier, there's a volume multiplier here, just making sure that they're all turned off. I prefer to keep my instruments sort of on their patterns from their samples because it reduces space, and it would be nice if FL Studio could just export, say, a wave piece and then, or even just a part of the pattern and replace the pattern, or just move it down or something. However, we're going to create stems. So it's just the same thing over and over, and it does kind of waste space, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So let's go disk recording, and we'll go auto create clip. I don't know why right click, because I think you have to hold shift, right? Shift click. Latency compensate. No, I don't know. Usually I thought it was right click. So, and then we'll turn off 32-bit because we don't really need 32-bit. That's just going to take up more space. That's generally only for like synths and stuff. However, I do want 24 bits because that'll give us a little bit more wiggle room. And we'll leave remainder, alias free, high quality, disable max poly, full resampling, and we'll do this. And this is going to take a while. Perhaps it might have been a good idea to do this in advance. However, I don't, can't tell the future. So while that's running, I kind of almost want to go back to my other track. However, I like to focus specifically on, one track. So what I'll do is I'll throw up the BRB and then I'll trim this out later. Unfortunately, the live stream and the reruns are going to contain, a BRB. And I'll just let it run visually, and I'll just kind of dawdle on the stream. Maybe talk about something. Isotope, I guess, the Isotope plugin. So it's kind of a comparison between my mixing skills and Isotope's automatic skills. And I'm not sure I really want to merge them. I'm trying to move through these tracks at a decent pace. However, I don't want to sacrifice quality. But I mean, if they're never going to sell, then if I'm never going to get any licenses for them, which is, it's all about marketing and it's all about, the current sound. Some people like, that sound, the sound that I have, more of an older sound, 90s. I get called 90s a lot. So, yeah, I'd like to, just make the catalog and legacy it. And then if people want to pick from it, they can. But I don't want to just, slap Isotope tools all over everything and then just, okay, it's done and move on. I want to, bring out some of the compression. I want to, find the good compression points. It's a lot of practice, mixing practice for me too, and a lot of experience with the Isotope tools. These are an older generation of Isotope tools. This is Ozone 9, I believe it's Neutron 4, Nectar 3. So it's the previous generation right now. The next generation coming out, I can't justify buying it, even though it's pretty cheap. It's just I'm not making any money. I already bought the Isotope tools, and the core is there. So I want to, at least make some cuts before considering spending more money on tools. I want to actually use these tools before progressing. So now that these are exported, I do have to bring them into RX. So we'll go batch processor, and then this is a different one. Let's go with wave processing. Yeah. Plugin, what is plugin? Normalize? No. Should just delete that. So we'll go ahead and delete, remove preset. What is this blank thing here? Let's remove the blank thing. MP3 mastering, music processing, phase normalization. I don't want to normalize, I just want phase. Okay, so let's just go blank here, default, and add, I just want phase. This is phase correction, we'll look at it here, adaptive phase rotation, which is what I want, and then choose location is same as original, and then we'll just add -P here, maybe capital P, short lowercase p, Preserve non-audio. That don't need that. Bit depth from original. Dither, no dither, because it's the same thing. I hope it's not exporting 32 bits, because that just takes up more space for nothing. So let's get these files in here. I do have to dig them out. So let's head back to FL. And I should be able to pull them out of here somehow, I think. Okay, and then I can just do that, perhaps. And of course, they decide to start playing. It's over, toss them in there, and then we'll go process. And this generally shouldn't take too long. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get a whole lot out of it. However, it is, worth it in a sense. So now that that's done, I'm going to save this. And I'll save this as 2023 to XX. And then call this FL10, I guess. This is pre-isotope, kinda. I'll just call it FL10. And then the new one will be called, oops. And that's how I get carried away. Now it has that version extension, which is just kind of a waste of space for the most part. This is the final. I'm just going to call that the final. So it is going to replace the previous one, which is kind of scary, but let's do that. And then we'll open up FL Studio 21. And now we're working in 64-bit, and our isotope plugins can take advantage of that 64-bit VST3 sort of environment that it has. Go ahead and open triplets. That's so loud. Why is that? I thought it muted that. It's notification, right? That's why. Okay. So this shouldn't be running. I don't know why my do not disturb is running. Not running. It's 2 schedules. Mornings, Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday from 6. Okay, so it isn't running right now. I just got a lot of other people starting streams, I assume. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna mute the notifications because this is getting out of hand here. Maybe I just turn on the vibrate. No, I don't really need vibrate. Don't need to be distracted. I'm in the lab here. The world can wait. Okay, so this is Triplet 2023. This is going to open up the older waves. I'll swap them out. Oh yeah, it's going to look for all these files too. Okay, so I'm just going to hold escape here. How's this doing? Okay, so that's done. I'm going to remove all files, X that, and X this. And I don't know why it's locating the files. It should know where they are. Why is everything bridged? I mean, it's 32-bit version, isn't it? Or a 64-bit version. It shouldn't be bridging the things in. That's annoying. Okay, so perhaps going forward, if I ever have to do this sort of thing again, I will. See, these are missing, I think, eh? I actually didn't say that anything was missing, which is interesting. But yeah, I will do the phase correction first, get stems out, and then move into FL21. So. See, it sounds wrong, right? So that's not how it's supposed. Can I? No. Let's go like this. Can I do that? No. How about this? There. Okay, so I just want this one now. Select everything. So the arpeggiator does something weird. All right, and let's look at this bridging here. This shouldn't be bridging, but at least there's not a million pop-ups. Are you bridging? Disabled because of an error during processing. Well then, let me just go like this, and we'll save preset as. We'll toss it down. Wow, what is it doing? It's saving everything, I think, eh? Okay, so now are you working? Okay, so it says it's working now. Maybe if I just save it and reload it, everything will kind of snap into place. Because I think it's bridging everything. It doesn't say bridged. It just says that there's an error. It does say bridged. 64-bit bridged inside of 64-bit. And this is 64-bit, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save. And then, oh, of course, it's going to take forever. Saving every individual preset. Tomasa Montero. Cool. Okay, so that's saved. Now what do I do here? I gotta close. Can I do that? There's no close button. Okay, so let's exit then. Close FL10. Let me throw up my background so I'm not dropping down to my desktop. Cluttered, dirty desktop. And then FL Studio's closed. Now let's bring in 21. Okay, and then we'll reopen this here. And hopefully it's coming in all bridged. It's opening direct waves, which aren't bridging. Likely because they're FL Studio architecture. So direct wave, waves, wrappers. Okay, everything's coming in looking like it's not bridging anymore. So my idea was a good one. We're avoiding bridging like crazy for no reason at all. All right, so hopefully now everything's running. And moment of truth here. Yes, okay, so everything's running. We're kosher, so to speak. Now, let me get my new waves. Where's my tenor? Why? Okay. So go alt. What is this? BD1, BD1P. There is no tenor. Why isn't there a tenor? What happened? Okay, so let's go back to FL10. And we will open, because this is a different version, right? I separated the versions moving forward. I mean, it makes more, what do you call it, files, but the files aren't that big. FLPs aren't that big. It just best to not get carried away because I used to have like hundreds of versions of the same file. See, I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's too much. FL10 in 2023 is fine. I got to keep in reference to FL20. Plus, there's the original, right? Like there's a regular triplet, which was the original version. I don't even know what number it was. I don't think I kept the numbers. I think that's the point when I decided to stop making versions and keeping one file. But yeah, there was some versions went up to like 100, 150. And then I had my exports, including the songs. So those were brand new versions. And those went up to like 30 or 75 different versions. And it's just pointless. I mean, if you really have to go back and rework something, then you're doing something wrong in the first place. Okay, so there's tenor right there. Like, why? Where is this? It's under recorded. Of course it is, right? Okay, so let's cut this. Quick access and P triplet deep into the computer. We'll paste. And then I got. Oh. And we'll close this. No. And then I got to open Arcs again. And get that phase alignment happening. Or phase rotation optimization. Okay, so and then we'll grab this. And then tenor hasn't been processed, so we'll go ahead and get that happening. Somehow drag this over here, pop that open, and tenor. I am processed. Okay, you don't need to be playing. Chill out. It's more eager than I am. SD, bring in the SD. So if we look at it, it looks fine. Let's see how much better it is, I guess. P. A little bit changed, a little bit, which matters. And then hi-hat's looking pretty sparse. P. Not much changed there. Baritone. Definitely we're going to see a difference here. A lot of bass instruments, because they get close to the low end crossover, they usually end up with a lot of offset. See, look at that, it's perfect. Like, that's really going to help. Again, here it looks like we got a lot of offset. It's alto, yes. Straighten that out, and tenor is just finishing, which is done now. So we'll close that and close this. I wonder what these are coming out as. I hope they're coming out as, 24-bit. They're coming out as 32. So what's the size difference here? Like, what am I getting for air? How much is air costing me? Because it's not doing anything. It's just adding air. Same size. Okay. So no big deal. That's still pretty big though. 50 megs, right? For something that can be weightless. Well, size-wise. All right. So we're finally to where we want to be. And I almost had to call the stream to an end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them through Isotope Tools. And then I'm going to export myself a comparison. And maybe I'll look around and see if I can take like the best of both worlds, right? Because a lot of these Isotope Tools, they don't have any like three-way splitters like my Sweet Spots does. Like it has it on Ozone, but it's not the same thing. Like it's not really the point. So if we go post, you see I split this out 3 different ways. And I mean, I didn't really use it, but there's the option there. And there's also, for effects and stuff, if I wanted to bring in effects and they're doing an autosave, it's nice to have. And Isotope doesn't have it. As far as Neutron doesn't have it. Okay. So we're wired in. Let's turn everything else off. I wish I could just turn everything else off with one click. I'm sure there's a button that does it. I remember there is, but it's not on my mind right now. Okay. So now we're just running Isotope. What is this? We're just running Isotope, and we have to reset this because I deleted the bass drum and brought it back. Okay, so we'll mix assistant. And now we can do balance. That's right, too. So perhaps I'll redo everything. And what do I want in the front here? Sounds off. Plug in delay compensation, automatic. There we go. I need my headphones. And make sure this is running. And I realized too that Meet Me can't hear my computer output. I have to resolve that somehow. I just don't really have time to troubleshoot that today. So I apologize to those coming through on Meet Me and hearing nothing but air. Or me talking. Okay, so I can't hear that. Also, I didn't even check if the stream is hearing this properly. Actually, I think I did. Okay, so the stream's hearing it, but apparently I'm not. Maybe it's too low here. There it is. See, the baritone has most of the body and it's constant. And everything's pretty much balanced. Okay, so what am I to do? What am I to do? Let's go baritone. This is the one with the most body, most rhythm. And then we go mix assistant, balance. Next, and then I should be able to see, yeah, now I can see all of them, right? So the focus is baritone. Can I, no? Like that? Okay. then we'll begin listening. Oh, and I gotta play it from the beginning to the end, right? Why isn't it? Oh, I have to. Okay, and then click focus. Okay, and then from this one to that one. Pretty sure it's just the same thing twice or 4 times, so let's go around once here. Okay. Results. So this is what we got. I like it. Like that. So crispy. What's the max here? 50? It's 33.333. Liking the crispiness. Still quite loud. Earballing things right now. Max this stuff out here. To the bass drum. Not really feeling what it's doing to the bass drum. I feel like I got better compression using my tools. Track enhance, intensity high, and this is of course drums because there's more than one drum in here. And I'm pretty sure everything else is done. And the snare feels pretty dull. So it's like I'm liking it like this. Not sure why the exciter's here. Super flimsy. I don't like what it's done to the drum either. Okay, it looks like the bass drum is done, but again, Negative 33. Negative 25. 66.66. Not really feeling what it's doing to the drums. What is this? Hi-hats? Progressions, cymbals, and this has to be wrapping around. Chorus. Super low. Maximizer's on. Let's turn that off. Yeah, this hi-hat is super dead now. Okay, so let's bring it up. It's maxed. Okay, let's bring it in. Zero that. We'll use the compressor to boost on it. Gain. Auto gain on. I'm not sure these compete with each other. This should be fine. 12. 10.5. Let's turn this loop off here. I guess I can hear it now. Why is it looping still? These drums are killer. I'm not sure I could just get right back to the mixing thing. What's this? Global opens the preset manager. Mix assistant, balance. Yeah, I'd like to be able to just get right back here, but of course I gotta sleeper down faders. Balance assistant should just be its own thing. Anyway, so the snare is dead. Let's bring up the snare. Drums are way too loud. Bass drum. Looks like we're mixing low. So around 36. Okay, so this can... How do I get out of here? What? Okay, X. So negative 6-ish. The snare is still pretty dead, so let's bring the snare up. Oh. Say +6. Barely. Let's crank it out at 10. Better. But the way I perceive it, it's still quite, it's louder than everything else now, so let's bring it down to 9. Bring it to the balance, close all the windows, and we'll get isotope open here. Let's move Maximus down. I can't actually, I gotta, because ozone has to be last, right? Sweet, and ozone. All right, so that's pretty much the end of this session. I do have to bounce this out. I'll do ozone next session. Then I'll compare things in the world. Actually, I'll do it now. I'll bounce it out, and then I'll compare things myself. Perhaps next session. Well, there'll be a final. I'll be like looking at final cuts for this album. However, right now I do have to call the stream here. And you're not really missing out on much. Ozone's just going to do its thing. I got to figure out where the center loudest part is. Perhaps I can do that now. Let's turn off everything here. Then I don't know what that is. Let's go like this, and we'll go pre. I don't know where it's going to drop me. Record master 2, recorded. I don't want that there. Upload. Deep here. As usual. Okay, there should be a file folder here. Audio data. Call this triplet pre. And then we'll render this recording. Latency compensation can stay. Render arm tracks. Auto create is off. Auto unarm. Render arm tracks to wave. Render selected tracks. Okay, so let's go render armed. And I do believe this will be 32 bits. It doesn't really matter. So let's go 24. Leave remainder. Okay, go. Hopefully this doesn't take half hour. Looks like it's running pretty smoothly and quickly. And then I'll get RX open and we'll determine what the loudest part of the track is because I need that for Isotope's mastering assistant. Let's drop it in here. I'll just navigate to it now. So once it's done, I can quickly toss it in here. It doesn't even look like it's built yet. Hopefully I put it in the right place. I like that there's an N for A now. Okay, so it should be here now. No. How would I do with it? Pre. Open, and then we use wave statistics. We have statistics here, and we want, I believe it's short term or momentary. Now they pretty much line up in the same spot. I do believe it's momentary, so it's at this point here. Okay, so there's that snare snap that's really dominating the thing here. This is not good. That here, right? I'll just do this one little piece, maybe. Close everything else because this is going to take up all of my CPU. In fact, we'll close this as well. Mastering assistant, high, go streaming, modern, go. I don't know what the problem is. What happened there? What's going on? How come it doesn't sleeping on the job? Maximus, parametric. How you gonna do me like that, man? What? Why? Let's try a different setting, I guess. So reference, medium high. We'll try vintage. It just sits there. Okay, that's not right. Maybe we'll load it. Ooh, and this reload. Okay. Mastering assistant, high intensity streaming next. It just sits there. What's wrong with it? Especially at a time like this, like really? Maybe I just push play and it'll do its thing. No. What's up with that? It crashed? Well, I guess that's not going to happen on stream. Bugger. Check out my website, jwpsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own plugins. Synth edit. If you'd like, or my GoFundMe, JWP Fund. If you're watching this on YouTube, a like, comment, and/or subscribe are appreciated. Thanks for watching. Until next time.